Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome back to another segment on English learning. And my name is Troy, if you forgot. Today we're going to talk about interview preparation and more specifically, common questions asked during an interview. So we're going to have a very short lesson, shorter than the previous ones. But it will still be important to learn about these questions, and hopefully they will help you in your interview. So we're going to take a look at the questions and also how to respond to those questions, so you don't have any problem during your interview. Okay, let's take a look at some common questions. The first one: why are you interested in this job? Or why are you interested in this position? Okay, pretty common question. It seems like an easy one to ask. And maybe your response would be, it sounds like fun. I really like doing this sort of job, okay? But they want to know a little bit more. So a good answer would be, I want to learn something about myself. I want to learn a new skill. I want to learn a new way to do something. You're always trying to learn and get more knowledge for your job, okay? They want to know that you are actively interested in learning about the company. So they want to know if you have researched the company as well. For example, maybe you are applying for a restaurant job. It would be wise to research the history of the company, what kind of practices they use in the restaurant, and maybe a little bit of knowledge about the food that they make, the types of customers that come in, business practices, okay? And typically a good company will have this information mostly readily available for you to find. If not, you could always ask someone at the company about their job, what kind of responsibilities that they have, and you can use this information in your interview. So number one, you want to learn something about yourself, you want to learn a new skill, you want to do something new, and number two, research the company that you are applying for. It would not be good to go into an interview without knowing anything about the company. I wouldn't be applying for that job if I wasn't interested in the company itself. Next question, another common one. Tell us about a situation where you took initiative or a leadership role. Okay, often we are put in a position where we have to do something, we have to lead a group, we are in charge of a project, okay? And sometimes this can be very, very difficult. But often, I think that we do a good job and we try our best no matter what. So maybe you want to talk about, a good way to respond is how you changed the project or how you changed the outlook of the final solution or the final product, okay? You want to talk about maybe your strategies, maybe some common ways to do something. Maybe take a look at how you managed the people that were in the group or the project. And you also want to talk about some difficult time, all right? Not everything is easy. You want them to know that you had a challenge ahead of you and that you completed that challenge. You overcame that challenge. They want to know that you will go above and beyond what is expected of you. Next question. What's one challenge you faced and how did you overcome it? Okay, a little similar to the last question, but talk about your growth. Maybe you were unsure of what was going to happen when you had a challenge in front of you. And when you got to the end of that challenge, you looked back and you said, wow, I really thought that I was going to fail, but look at all of the great things that happened and look at the type of person that I became because of this challenge. They want to know that you're going to learn something, and they want to know that you're going to, I guess you would say, use that growth for the future, for a better purpose, and a better purpose for the company. You can also mention small problems too. It doesn't always have to be a big problem. Maybe there was a little argument, maybe there was some miscommunication between some coworkers or some information that wasn't given. You can also talk about something like that. As long as you are directing your answer towards growth and you overcame the challenge and you looked back and you said, okay, I did this, I'm proud of it, I learned something. Another question, tell us about a time you had to learn something completely new. Okay, this is also a common one. Mention your education. This is always a great strategy when this question is asked. For example, maybe you were taking a class that you really didn't want to take and you thought you would have a bad time because of the teacher or the material that you were going to learn. And maybe you thought, there's no way that I'm going to be interested. But maybe at the end of that class, you said, wow, I had a really good time. I learned something new. I didn't think I would be interested. And this is pretty normal. At least for me, when I was in college, I had to take a lot of classes I didn't want to take. But I ultimately found out that some of those classes I didn't want to take, I really enjoyed in the end. So you can mention how your education was a big factor in trying to learn something new. You can also talk about problems that you faced while learning in those classes. Maybe there wasn't a particular way that you were used to doing something and you had to do it a new way. Or maybe someone helped you out or you helped someone. You can also talk about the problems, okay? What problems? What was the biggest challenge for you when you learned something new? Was it constantly doing the same thing wrong over and over? Okay, and you had to learn not to do it that way eventually, and finally something clicked and it worked. Okay, talk about some problems that you had. And this is a very important question that you may be asked, and probably one of the most important. What are some questions you have for us? So I'll be the interviewer, and I will ask you, what are some questions you have for us? Why are you here, okay? You should always have some questions to ask the interviewer. It shows them that you are interested, that you want to know more about the company, and that you are, I guess you would say, there for a reason, okay? Ask about the company. Ask what type of people you work with. What type of atmosphere do people work in? What's the attitude towards the boss or different colleagues? And be engaged in the company, okay? Remember I said you have to research the company. So use that research and use it in the form of a question if this question is asked to you. This will show them that you really want to be there and you're not just there because it was your only chance at getting a job or a certain position, okay? All right, that is it. Thank you.